It was back in January of 2015 when we visited Mitzi Perdue to talk about her book that she wrote about her late husband, Frank Perdue, Tough Man, Tender Chicken.
In 2019, Mrs. Perdue sat down with us in historic Studio D to talk about a global anti-trafficking auction that she was organizing. And today, her focus is turned to Ukraine.
What do we want for our children? To give them a better life.
Specifically, the horror of landmines that prevent Ukrainian children from playing without the risk of losing their limbs.
Well, Mitzi joins us today again in historic Studio D. Welcome to DelmarvaLife.
What a complete joy to be here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. So it was actually your writing about human trafficking that kind of led up to someone from the Ukraine reaching out to you. Is that how it worked?
Oh, exactly. I write for Psychology Today, and I'd written this story about human trafficking in Ukraine, and the most wonderful thing from my point of view happened. A guy in Ukraine who's head of the Kyiv region police, and that's a huge region, 6,400 people, he got hold of my article. And he said, you know, I like what I read, but it's much worse. Why don't you come here yourself as a guest of the Kyiv region police department and see? And 10 days later, I'm in Kyiv.
Wow.
Actually, 10 days later, I'm in Kyiv in a bomb shelter because the day that I arrived, or the night that I arrived, there were rockets heading towards Kyiv, and I was in a bomb shelter.
Oh my goodness. Now, you've had more than one trip there?
3 trips.
Why? Tell me what
what's
happened.
a nice girl like me doing in Ukraine?
That's a hard question to ask right there.
Okay, I'm a writer by trade.
Yeah.
I mean, you know me, I think, as the egg lady, but in fact, I write for Psychology Today, and I was there as a journalist, and I've had, I think it's 54 published stories, and I wish you'd go to my website and maybe look at them.
Yes, absolutely.
And then a particular favorite was, I got to interview a bunch of students during an active air raid. You know, they're rockets heading towards us, and to see their attitudes. And I'll tell you just very briefly, their attitude was a message for Americans. You know, be grateful that you can study without being interrupted by rockets.
That's incredible. Another thing that you have been, I guess, crowdfunding, sourcing is for the removal of landmines, which is not an easy task from what I understand.
I've become friendly with the oldest and largest landmine clearance organization in the world, the Halo Trust. And while I was in Ukraine the last time, there's something called a metal detector that they use. And I've been in an active landmine area where you make a mistake, you step in the wrong place, and
that's it.
Curtains, yeah.
And you actually, and you're holding something.
Yeah,
what is that?
This is one of the smaller landmines. If you see it in a pile of leaves, you're probably not going to, I mean, you might easily step on it. And I brought it because since we're in an agricultural area, I thought people might be interested in one of the biggest uses of this. The Russians have a machine where they can spray using rockets, 7,500 of these, onto fields, and the fields can be 13 miles away. You can be in a backcountry road and you dial in the coordinates of prime agricultural land, and that land can't be used again. I mean, one truck can deliver 7,500 of these, and can you imagine, maybe you've got a 400-acre field, and you don't know where the landmines are.
So let me ask you about putting up your engagement ring for auction.
Somewhat painful, but I think it's the best thing I ever did, because it went for $1.2 million, and the money has been used to create a women's shelter to help prevent trafficking. It's also been used for landmine clearance. So I think Frank's ring, I believe that he would be really happy that, you know, one little stone has done so much to help people.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so you do have a place where people can donate to help.
Indeed I do.
With this cause.
Yes, it's a crowdfunding effort, DonorSee.com/Ukraine. And I'm interested in $5 donations. I mean, if somebody wants to give more, yay. But the more donations there are, the more support it tells people in Ukraine. And guess what? It means so much to them. You know, a friend in need is a friend indeed. When they hear that Americans are supporting them, it's just balm to the soul. It really matters.
Your website has videos and lots of information, and I encourage everyone to go there. And of course, we'll have a link from our website, DelmarvaLife.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For what you're doing and for being here.
Yes.
Good to see you.
As I said, I'm happy as can be to be here.
You're the best.